People filled the streets, walking solemnly through the Berkshire town from early this morning as well-wishers from across the country travelled to Windsor to give thanks to Britain's longest-serving monarch and her life of dedication, duty and service. Parents pushing buggies, schoolchildren dressed in blazers, tourists clutching cameras and pensioners clutching bouquets of roses, sunflowers and lilies filed past the towering walls of Windsor Castle to gather together in memory of their cherished queen. Nursery nurse Maggie Mullen, 60, and her husband Martin Mullen, 58, travelled from their home in Chertsey, Surrey, to lay a bouquet in front of Cambridge Gate. Maggie said, "We've known nothing but having a queen. I feel like a massive part of our history has been lost now. We all knew it was going to happen, but it is still such a shock. She gave so much to the country in good times and bad times. We were so lucky to have her." A memorial of flowers, balloons and messages grew steadily under sunny skies outside the Queen's favourite home. Royal fans flocked to Windsor to pay respects to the Queen. Image, Getty, Shamie Allel and Sally Lucas at Cambridge Gate, Windsor. Image, John King, Royal Family Live. King Charles fights tears in first images since death of beloved Queen. King Charles III was pictured fighting back tears as he left Balmoral following the death of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II. A photograph showed Charles in the back seat of a grey car, with Camilla at the front sitting beside the driver. Both of them wore black. Read more on express.co.uk/live blog. Here one message read, "To our beloved Elizabeth, a leading light and example. Thank you for your service. You'll forever be in our hearts." Royal fans Mick and Jill Pemberton, from Yateley, Hampshire, also placed her bouquet. Jill, 61, said, "I love the Queen and everything she represented. She dedicated her whole life to this country. I used to see her every year at Royal Ascot. She would drive up the long walk and I would move up and she would wave to me, which felt really special. She represented stability. You feel like you've lost a family member in a way." Although we all knew this was going to happen, it was still a shock. "It's a big loss." Retired British Airways engineer Mick, 68, said, "She's just been with us for all of our lives. It hit me so suddenly that she is not there anymore." Read about a double rainbow scene over Buckingham Palace. Maggie and Martin Mullen travelled from their home in Chertsey. Image, John King, Mick and Jill Pemberton came from Yateley in Hampshire. Image, John King, student Keely Crothers, 41, travelled to Windsor from Portsmouth to lay a bunch of white roses in honour of the Queen. She recalled visiting Windsor to celebrate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee in June when thousands of people across the country joined street parties and events to mark Elizabeth II's historic reign. Keely said, "We were here for the lighting of the beacon. It's surreal that 3 months later she has gone. There's an eerie silence hanging over the area. I wanted to pay my respects. She meant everything. I don't know a time without her. She was a strong and kind woman. She never put a foot wrong. No one can match her." Many of those gathered outside the castle described their shock at the Queen's passing, despite knowing the 96-year-old monarch had been experiencing episodic mobility issues. Don't miss Prince Harry arrives at Balmoral in motorcade following Queen's death. Report, Royal Family Live. William and Kate speak out over new titles. Latest, Queen death, reporters emotionally blindsided by news. Revealed, Nicole Byrne, mum Susan and daughters Eveline and Denya. Image, John King. It was only on Tuesday the Queen was pictured welcoming new Prime Minister Liz Truss to Balmoral after meeting outgoing Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Vision therapist Sally Lucas, 62, from Alresford in Hampshire, said, "We were just devastated. I didn't expect to feel so personally bereft. She was an amazing lady who gave her whole life for our country. It's just incredibly sad. Others paid tribute to the Queen's ability to connect with her subjects. Full-time mum Nicole Byrne, 30, travelled from Birmingham with her mum Susan, 53, and children Enya, 8, and Evelyn, 5. Nicole said, "We've never known anything different. As a woman as well, it was lovely to grow up with a woman as head of state. She seemed like everyone's nan. I love the royal family." Susan paid tribute to the Queen's lifelong service to the UK. She said, "She was devoted to her duty. The country came first. She wasn't just the Queen of this country. She was known around the world." John Broadhead travelled from Farnham to pay his respects. Image, John King. Many of those gathered were visibly moved by the Queen's death, standing in silent reflection at the gates of Windsor Castle. Retired Coleman's worker, Jack Clover, 86, from Woodton in Norfolk, said, "I feel sorrow. It was obviously inevitable, but I just feel sorrow. It's the end of an era." Chris White, from Harrow, a trumpet player who performed for the royal family with the Central Band of the Royal Air Force, simply said, "I'm overwhelmed." Wife Wendy, a retired teaching assistant, added, "You just felt connected with her. She made you feel safe. She made you feel part of this country. When you had her presence, you thought everything would all be alright." Teaching assistant Jane Eagleton, 56, from Windsor, said, "I feel devastated. The Queen was everything to us. You looked up to her. You would wait every year for the Queen's speech to inspire you." The mother of 4 described how special it was when she saw the Queen at the Windsor Horse Show and the time the late monarch attended a school concert at Alexandra Gardens in the town, meeting children from Jane's school. She said, "She was just so friendly. She was just like one of us at the end of the day." John Broadhead, 73, a retired shopkeeper from Farnham, said, "She meant everything. It was so sad when you saw the picture of her with the Prime Minister a few days ago. She looked so frail. There will never be anyone like her again. I sat in front of the TV from 4 o'clock on Thursday until midnight and tears were just rolling." On Friday, King Charles III met members of the public outside Buckingham Palace as the country adjusted to a new monarch. Britons in Windsor, on the whole, voiced their full support for the 73-year-old sovereign. Wendy said, "I think he'll be all right. Has had a lot thrown at him. He'll follow in his mother's footsteps, I'm sure." Many agreed, saying the Queen's example would serve as inspiration for the King, who has had to step into the role at a time when he and the rest of the royal family are grieving. Jane said, "I hope he will rule in the same way as his mother. Has had her all that time as inspiration. But I can't imagine how he's feeling. It's a big step." Jack, who shares Prince Philip's admiration of all-race motor cars, said, "You've got the world watching you, expecting you to be able to do the right thing. It must be extremely difficult under these circumstances." But John said some wanted the crown to pass to Prince William instead of King Charles. He explained, "I think a lot of people wanted to skip past him and go to William because of all the mess we went through with Diana and Camilla." Others disagreed, saying the Queen would have wanted her eldest son to reign and her wishes and British custom should be respected. Keeley said, "I think he's going to be a great king. Has been preparing all his life for this role. His mother will have trained him well. He's going to be a